Number 7, 2x plus 3 equals 17. In this equation, we have to do two things. We have to move the positive 3 away from the term with the variable, and we have to move the 2 that's being multiplied to the variable. So we do addition and subtraction first. The way we get rid of positive 3 is by adding a negative 3. Whatever we do to one side of the equation, we must do to the other. 2x plus 3 minus 3 is just 2x because plus 3 minus 3 is 0. And that equals 17 minus 3, which is 14. 2 is being multiplied to x, so we must divide by 2 to get x by itself. So we have 2x divided by 2. Whatever we do to one side of the equation, we must do to the other side of the equation. So we must divide this 14 by 2. 2x divided by 2 is x. 14 divided by 2 is 7. If we put our answer 7 into the original equation, 2 times 7 is 14, plus 3 equals 17. Number 8, 3x plus 7 equals 16. Again, we have two steps. First, we must move this positive 7 away from the term that has the variable. Then we must get rid of this 3 being multiplied to the variable. So I'm going to pick up this positive 7, move it to the opposite side of the equal sign where the sign changes to negative 7. I could have done it just like this. I could have added negative 7 to both sides, and this would have been eliminated, and I'd be left with just 3x. So I have 3x equals 16 minus 7. 16 minus 7 is 9. So I have 3x equals 9. To get x by itself, I must divide by 3 because it's being multiplied by 3. Whatever I do to one side of the equation, I must do to the other. 3x divided by 3 equals x. Anything over itself is the same as 1, so that would give me 1x, and 1 times x is x. 9 divided by 3 is 3. If I take my answer and plug it into the original equation, 3 times 3 is 9, plus 7 is 16. Number 9, negative 4 plus 5x equals negative 39. This is the term with the variable in it. So first I must move this away from it. This is negative 4 on this side of the equation. So when I pick it up and move it to the right side of the equation, it becomes positive 4. And then I'm left with plus 5x or a positive 5x on this side of the equation. 5x equals negative 39 plus 4. 5x equals negative 35. Negative 39 plus 4, the signs are different, so we find the difference in these numbers and keep the sign of the larger number. Now I need to get the 5 away from the x. 5 is being multiplied to the x, so I must divide by 5. 5x divided by 5. Whatever I do to one side of the equation, I must do to the other. So I must divide this negative 35 by 5. 5x divided by 5 is x. These 5's cancel each other out. And negative 35 divided by 5 is negative 7. Not just 7. 35 divided by 5 is 7. Negative divided by positive is negative. Now I'm going to take this negative 7 and put it in the original equation. Negative 4 plus 5 times negative 7. 5 times negative 7 is negative 35, plus this negative 4 equals negative 39. Number 10, negative 8 minus 5x equals 32. This is the term with the variable in it, negative 5x. It's not just 5x. This minus sign in front of it makes it negative 5x. So I'm going to move this negative 8 to the opposite side of the equation where it becomes positive 8. So I have 33 plus 8. Negative 5x equals 41. Now I must move the negative 5 away from the x. The negative 5 is being multiplied to the x, so I must divide by negative 5 to get the x by itself. So negative 5x divided by 5. Now I must divide 41 by negative 5. Whatever I do to one side of the equal sign, I must do to the other side of the equal sign. Negative 5 divided by negative 5 is 1, so I'm left with x. And then I have 41 over negative 5. Now, if I plug this into the original equation, let's plug this in here. I have negative 5 times 41 over negative 5, which equals positive 41. So I have negative 8 plus 41, which equals positive 33. I've added these last two examples because these are formulas often used in algebra and geometry. And I want to show you how to rewrite the equation to solve for whichever variable you're interested in. In number 11, the symbol, the number, pi equals circumference divided by diameter. Whenever you see pi, we're talking about something round, something circular, something cylindrical. It is the relationship, the ratio of the circumference of the circle, that's the outline of the circle, to the diameter of the circle. That's the line going across the circle from one side to the other through the center. So here's how we write it. Pi equals circumference over diameter. Let me show you how you can rewrite the equation. Let's jump down here. To get c by itself, I have to do the opposite of what's being done to it. It's being divided by d. So I have to multiply d to it. So c times d over d is just c. Whatever I do to one side of the equation, I must do to the other. So if I'm going to multiply this side by d, I must multiply this side by d. So c equals, circumference equals, pi times the diameter. Now, diameter is the same as 2 times the radius. The diameter is twice the radius. The radius is from the center to the side of the circle. The diameter is from one side of the circle to the other through the center. Now, what if I want to know diameter? If you look at this equation, to get d by itself, I must divide by pi. Therefore, I must divide circumference by pi. So diameter equals circumference divided by pi. Now, I want you to see this. You can switch these two positions. You see that? How did I do that? In order to get d by itself, first I have to get it out of the denominator. So I got to multiply this side by d. Therefore, I have to multiply this side by d. And I end up with pi times d equals c. And to get the pi away from this side, I'd have to divide by pi, and I'd have to divide the c by pi. Let's look at the last example. Rate equals distance divided by time. Rate is speed. So if someone says 50 miles per hour, 50 miles, that's the distance, per the time is hour. That's the rate. If I want to get d by itself, that's here, I must multiply t on this side and multiply t on this side. So d equals r times t. Distance equals rate times time. Now, if I want to have time isolated, this variable isolated, I need to divide this by rate, and I need to divide this by rate. So distance divided by rate equals time. People spend a lot of time memorizing these rewritten equations. You only need to remember these two equations, and if you know how to rewrite equations to isolate for whatever variable you'd like, then you don't need to memorize anything else. This is easy to remember. Anytime you see pi, it has something to do with a circle. The larger number is on top, the circumference. The distance around the circle is much longer than the distance across the circle. So if you can remember circumference over distance equals pi, then you can rewrite for any of these equations that you need. Pi equals 3.14 approximately. So in order to get the whole number 3 plus a decimal, this numerator must be bigger than the denominator. Rate equals distance over time. This equation should not be hard for you to remember. Rate is speed. How do we talk about speed? 60 miles per hour. The distance over the time. That's rate. 60 miles per hour. If you can remember that, if you can just remember how we talk about speed when we're driving a car, then you can rewrite this equation to either one of these. I hope this lesson was helpful. Please leave a comment. Your comments help me improve the quality of these videos. Have a great day. No more math blues.